On the 31st of July, the Prime Minister of India did something that made no political sense. A group of protesters had abused him in public. They had abused his dead mother. He had every legal instrument in this country available to him, and yet he chose to forgive them. Most of India read that as news and moved on. Well, you are not supposed to, because by the end of this video, you will have a finished UPSC essay paragraph. See, the irony is, two people read this news. The first knows what happened. He can repeat the facts at a tea stall. Well informed. He will score nothing. The second asks one more question. Not what happened, but what is this news about? How does this connect to my static syllabus of UPSC? That question is the difference between a reader and a ranker. Ask it and this stops being a headline. It becomes an essay example and an ethics case study. Now quickly let me remind you the facts. CJP, the Cockroach Jantar Party, protested at Jantar Mantar over the NEET paper leak. Abuse aimed at the Prime Minister and his late mother went viral. An FIR was registered. Then came a video from the PM. No anger, no counterattack. He said courts and punishment would change nothing. It was time to embrace these children and show them the right path. And then he quoted an example that will fetch you marks in UPSC mains exam. Sometimes our tongue gets caught between our teeth and bleeds. Yet we do not break our teeth because both belong to us. And that is where it gets really interesting. Look at what he actually chose. Retribution would have been legal, it would have been justified, and it would have ended the argument. Forgiveness ended nothing. Forgiveness kept the doors open, and that is the entire debate between retributive justice and restorative justice sitting inside one news item. That is Ethics Paper 4. Compassion, tolerance, emotional intelligence, the conduct of a public servant when he is personally attacked. And in essay, this is your example for forgiveness, for leadership, for justice versus mercy, and for youth and outrage in the age of social media. Now, some of you are thinking, sir, this is political. I cannot write about a sitting prime minister. That is exactly the mistake. You are not writing about a politician. You are writing about a decision. Strip the name. What left is a person in power, publicly humiliated, choosing restraint over retaliation. That isn't politics. That is ethics. And you know how essay is scored. A very large chunk of your marks comes from the quality of your examples that are used to substantiate your views. So here is the paragraph. Write it down. That's your essay done. The ethics breakdown, the full case study, the value dimensions, and the counter argument that is available in my notes on Telegram, and the link is given in the bio.